here's Brody Brazil.
So are you ready for Shintaro Saturdays with the Oakland A's? Actually, let me try this again. Are you ready for Shintaro Saturdays with the Oakland A's? It's so corny. But this is so interesting. Like, this caught my eye. I figured I knew what it was about, and that's true. Like, there are some good reasons behind this. It's actually maybe not what you expected, depending on what you are expecting. I've been having some fans ask me about this. What do you think about it? What's the reasoning behind it? So I wanted to explain it in Mark Kotsay's words. I also want to talk about a very unique situation. Shintaro Fujinami's first season of Major League Baseball, obviously first season with Oakland. And Mark Kotsay is not going to go the traditional route with his rotation of, here's a 5-man staff. You pitch, in your turn after every other 4 pitchers have gone. He's just going to pitch Fujinami on Saturdays. That's his day. And I actually think for all these reasons, that's pretty cool. Here's the situation. Fujinami's going to do this, as Kotsay is saying, just to start the 2023 season. So will we be seeing this by June, July, August? Who knows? Quite possibly. Maybe not. It's not something that he's committing to for the longest of times. It's just that this is the way we'll start. I totally understand that. Again, I respect it, and I actually think this is a pretty cool idea. But it's just to begin the 2023 season, meaning that the A's will need a 6th starter, like a 6-man rotation, many weeks. Now, some weeks, you have an off day in there, maybe even 2. That doesn't really ever happen. But you just get the timing of it where Fujinami and the rotation may not need a 6th man, but other weeks, and probably most weeks, they absolutely will. And one of the reasons that Kotsay's doing this, you should know the background, is that in Japan, starting pitchers in the Japanese baseball professional leagues, they pitch once a week. Now, in Major League Baseball, like some weeks it is just once, but a lot of weeks it's twice within a span of 7 days, right, because of the 5-man rotation, and maybe 1 day off, but sometimes no days off. Teams often go 14, 15, 16, 17 straight game days in a row. So that is the situation. That's kind of the backstory. Hang with me here on the quote from Mark Kotsay. I'll read it to you, courtesy of the San Francisco Chronicle. The main reason we're starting out that way, this is from Kotsay, is that Fuji has never done anything different, like before this. There's a lot of change going on for him. We're keeping this consistent routine for him now. In terms of the other guys and how we manage them, I think it's very similar to a 6-man rotation in that guys will be getting extra days, which I think is beneficial. We've seen a lot of teams giving their starters rest early, right? So not just Fuji, everybody else too, so that they're fresher at the back end of the season. And this is something that's very similar, even though it's not a 6-man rotation. So that makes sense, and I understand it. It's not just for Fujinami. It's primarily to benefit him, which is a great idea, but it's also a really good idea at the beginning of the season. And also, just going back to what Kotsay said about Fuji, that this is different than anything he's ever done before. Yeah, living in North America, traveling across our country, ballparks he's never seen, opponents, teammates he's never played with before. But obviously, he's worked with them in spring training, but all of this is new. Opponents he's never faced. He's going to obviously face Shohei Ohtani as a hitter in his very first start, April 1st, that Saturday, Game 2 at the Coliseum. So yeah, there's a lot of newness, and they're just trying to ease him into the situation. Here's Fuji's reaction through his interpreter. Again, his quotes are going to be short. He's not trying to shortchange us. He just said, Kotsay wants me to feel as comfortable as possible. I appreciate Kotsay's consideration. Let me say this, and the interview is here on the YouTube channel. You can check it out after you're done with this video. I got to talk to him in spring training, and although there is the language barrier, and although his translator is great and a great person to talk to as well, I could sense the body language of him being just a really chill, nice guy and a perfect teammate for the Oakland A's. And I have talked to his teammates about what's it like, with him, and conversing and communicating, obviously through a huge language barrier. He always needs his interpreter. I believe he also has a masseuse that follows him around, a small staff, not a big staff of people following him around, but he does need them. And they say it's great. They say he really is vibing with them, all things considered, pretty well. So I just want to throw in that personal side. I really like Fuji and what I've seen and observed so far firsthand. Look at his spring stats. A 3-0 record, a 3.86 ERA, 18 2/3 innings pitched across how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 starts, 20 strikeouts. Now, I apologize that these stats are so small, but I had to fit them all here on the screen. The one thing you will notice is look how many walks per game and look at the number of pitches versus the total strikes. Like the first game, in 2 innings pitched, he threw 25 pitches, only 12 strikes, and had 3 walks in 2 innings. Now, that was February 28th against the Halos, first time out. Only gave up 1 hit, couple, some jitters, did strike out 3 in that game. March 7th, at the Diamondbacks, 3 innings pitched, 2 walks again, 52 pitches. So now we're doubling the pitch count, 32 strikes. All right, only walked 2 in 3 innings. Okay, all right. Next outing at Colorado, 3 innings pitched, 70 pitches. So now we're stretching that out. He walks 3. Next time out after that. Oh, and he did, by the way, he walks 3, but struck out 7 Rockies batters. On March 19th, 4 2/3. Now we're really stretching out the innings, but how about this? 4 2/3 on 41 pitches. Very efficient. And he even walked 5. He walked 5 in 41 pitches, only threw 20 strikes against the Dodgers in that game, but struck out 5. And then March 25th against Milwaukee, 6 innings, another 41 pitches. Is that right? 6 innings, 41 pitches? Wait a second. That something's got to be wrong there. Number of pitches 41 and 24 strikes. And he walked 4? I don't know if I trust these spring training stats all of a sudden. Bottom line is the point I'm trying to make. Here's a pitcher who does quite well, and the fastball is effective. Sometimes the location is a little bit of the worry thus far, but that's what they're working out with him. But look, I don't want to dwell on the negative. Why are we dwelling on the negative? All things considered, this is pretty encouraging for him in the wins, right? Never even lost a spring training start. He's been stretched out to at least 70 pitches, and obviously 6 innings against Milwaukee, 18 2/3 total innings pitched and 20 strikeouts. Like, he's getting the job done. Very excited about this. I also heard some people say, well, maybe they're doing him on these Saturday starts to try and make it so that in Japan, back home, they can watch him play. Like, that's an optimal time. But actually, if you do the calculations here on time zones, a 1 p.m. start on Saturday, like you'll almost always have at the Coliseum, is actually a 5 a.m. start Sunday morning in Japan. So they're a day ahead of us. And 1 p.m. in Oakland, 5 p.m. Japanese Standard Time. Not the most optimal time for Japanese fans to watch him, because on the contrary, if he were pitching night games at the Coliseum, where first pitch is shortly after 6:30, that's a 10:30 a.m. start the next day in Japan. So a little bit, easier to digest a baseball game at 10:30 in the morning as opposed to 5 a.m. But you know what? Good for some people in Japan, because I know they will be waking up for these Fuji starts. So there you go. Shintaro Saturdays with the Oakland A's.
Shintaro Saturdays with the Oakland A's.
We can't do that in the studio. I can just do that here. So is that what we're calling it? Like, this is cool. He can carve out a day of the week. Like, it's Shintaro Day. It's Shintaro Saturday. Look at him wearing the Oakleys. Are those Oakleys? He's got some personality. He's got some flair. I wish I spoke Japanese. I wish I could, communicate with him like that. But I'm really digging it, and I'm glad the A's have him. And I wish him the best. I can see something in him, and I hope he does really well. And I hope this is a big baseball season for Shintaro Fujinami. So, hey, let me know what you think about this video. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it, since you stayed around this long. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that I can see you next time.